Hey, everybody. Welcome to week 1 of Growing to Gold. Okay, so just a couple of announcements. Michelle and I are heading this up together. Just know we are going to this is Holy Spirit led. Okay, so we don't exactly know how this is going to roll, but we're going to go with it. I do know that I have secured Nick Clark from corporate. He happens to be our president's son. So he is going to come every month and hang out with us and bring wisdom and belief and encouragement. So that's a big deal. Okay. That's a really big deal. So just know that is also coming. All right. Before we start, I am going to pray for us because listen, I am really working hard at holding everything I do here open-handedly. So let's go to the Father in prayer. God, thanks for this day. Thanks for this group of women who have carved out time to either jump on live or who are watching this recording. God, will you honor their sacrifice of time? Would you make their interactions with their family even richer because they sacrifice time to be here? Would you make their reach outs even more effective because they sacrifice time to learn and grow? God, would you use Michelle and I, that no matter what we teach them skill set wise, that our entire mission here, our entire point of influence is to point people to the cross. God, will you move us out of the way and will you show up here? Would you bless our efforts, our intentions, and our actions? God, we honor you and always say and do. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, let's jump in. All right, so first of all, I want to start with our theme, and this is kind of where this whole idea of growing for gold came from. And it started in my sermon, in my pastor's sermon last week, which y'all, my pastor wasn't even there. So this was like a fill-in pastor. He's our, I don't actually know what his title is. He's just another pastor. But it's funny that there was this thing birthed into me when it wasn't even my head pastor, but he said, faithfulness is long obedience in the same direction. And I'm going to say that every single week. Faithfulness is long obedience in the same direction. So drop in the chat maybe some areas where you have seen yourself be faithful with long obedience in the same direction. I know with me, fitness has been something that I have been very faithful in, not because, well, partly because I am vain, but also because I believe this body God has given me and I have a responsibility to keep it healthy and strong. And so fitness is one. Marriage, yes, absolutely. Working out, IPA, 100%. Listen, parenting a 19-year-old feels like long obedience in the same direction. Parenting, yeah, several of you are saying parenting. Finances, some of you are way better than I am about having long obedience in the same direction in the area of finances. So why is that the theme for this Growing for Gold group? Growing for gold, whether you are working toward gold or you are working toward developing someone to gold, it requires faithfulness in the same direction. It requires long obedience in the same direction because going silver seems fun. It's exciting and it's quick. Most people can go silver quickly. Not me. It took me 3.5 weeks to get my first yes. It's kind of the story of my life, you guys. But here I am. So it worked out. But when you're deciding to go gold, first of all, when I first started, there was silver, 3 people, gold, 20 people. There was nothing in the middle. So senior silver is new. Maybe a year or 2 old, maybe older. I don't know. I don't know when senior silver came about, but it came about because the jump from 3 people to 20 people often felt discouraging. And so they created senior silver as kind of a benchmark, like, hey, you're on the way. It's okay. Keep going. And so we've got senior silver now, and some of you are already there. Congratulations, huge congratulations. But most of the time, people can recruit themselves to silver, and they can really recruit themselves to senior silver. Some of you have done it. I did it, if senior silver were a thing. But usually, to go gold, it's going to require a slight shift in skill set. You could recruit yourself all the way to gold if you wanted to. But the quickest way to get there, and often the most fun way to get there, is by developing the skill set of casting vision for someone to go do what you've already done. Because if you are going senior silver or gold, you've already gone silver. And so you're able, if you're willing, to tell somebody else, here's why I went silver and why I think you should too. And sometimes we forget that the difference between silver and gold is just more of the same thing. It took 3 people to go silver. That was 18 points. And the only difference between 18 points and 100 points is more points. It's more points. Sometimes we overcomplicate it. Okay, so for me, that sentence of faithfulness is long obedience in the same direction means that because God has placed this opportunity in my lap, I can trust that it's his will for my life. I was reading a book the other day that talked about sometimes we get so caught up in trying to discern God's will. Is this his will for my life? Should I do this? Should I do that? And the author was saying, like, this is your life. Like right now, you are walking in God's will for your life. And so because you are here, we can assume that God is either going to drastically slam the door or he's expecting you to steward this opportunity well. And so if I believe that I'm operating every day in God's will, then I have a responsibility to steward this opportunity well. Okay. So if I have an opportunity and a responsibility to steward this well, then what I have to latch onto is, okay, God, I will have long obedience in the same direction here. And that means when it feels really fun and my first few people are saying yes, I'm long obedience in the same direction. When it feels really hard and someone has given me a firm no, I will have long obedience in the same direction. When somebody has made a snarky comment or that uncle at Thanksgiving makes fun of me in front of everyone over mashed potatoes, my faithfulness is to this opportunity because it's what God has called me to, not because I have to be fearful or concerned about what men will think or man will think or women, whoever. They're going to think something regardless. Give them something to talk about. Okay. Easier said than done, I know. Okay. So why do I think you should be excited to go gold? Or if you're already gold, why do I think you should be excited to help somebody else go gold? Well, first of all, research is showing that an extra $500 a month is making the difference between marriages staying together and people getting divorced. $500. Our youth pastor brought in a family and marriage therapist last night. She's a mom of one of the youth. And so she was coming in to talk about this rampant pandemic of teenage anxiety and depression and what they've seen it just skyrocket and why is that the case and what can we do as parents? And she said one of the biggest issues contributing to teenage anxiety is financial problems of parents. Because you know why? Kids are helpless in that situation. They can't contribute to the family finances, and they are so much more intuitive than we think. You think that your financial discussions take place behind closed doors, but they see the side eye when you purchase something at the grocery store that wasn't on the list. They see the tension. So $500 when you invite someone to an opportunity like this could be the difference in that child having a peaceful home environment and supper time conversation, or being witness to stress and tension and things like that. So why gold? Because it has life-changing opportunity. You guys, life change doesn't happen when you're making $20,000 a month. Okay. Life change starts to happen when people start to have hope that things can be different. And gold is the time where you see people say, I started this to try this, but now that I'm getting closer to this rank, I'm going to do this. Like I didn't just earn one bonus, but like I'm building something. And if I think I can build something, I have hope that things can eventually be different. So why should you be excited about gold? Number one, it should be hope for you. If you can go gold, do not miss this. If you can go gold, you can go diamond. There's never been a diamond who did not first have to go gold. So because of that, we should be so excited to invite every single product user to an opportunity to check this out. You cannot ever know whether or not someone would be willing, able, good at it. Otherwise, you can't ever know. And it's not really your responsibility to decide that for them. So here's what, and we're going to get to open coaching in just a second. What I want to talk about is, because you're here, somebody has joined you along the way. Whether that was a mom, a sister, and an aunt, it does not really matter. What can you be doing with the people that you already have? Because that's what I want to make sure we don't miss. What I don't want you to do is enroll, leave, go enroll. That's not the name of the game. The name of the game is enroll, share Plexus, get someone willing to get started, and then help them love their products while also showing them what else is available to them. So what should you be doing with the joins that you have? Let's start right there. Number one, you should be putting them in Plexus Freedom Wellness Community. Okay, that is a brand new customer service experience that we are taking. We're really taking the experience to the next level. So put your people in whatever customer group is available. Okay, here's why. People, they don't just join for a product. They're not just buying a product from you. If that's all they wanted, okay, yes, Michelle, I was about to ask you, put them in Living Free. If you're on Michelle's team, Living Free. If you're outside of Michelle's team, put them in Plexus Freedom Wellness Community. Basically, plug them in. Plug them in, okay? They're not just buying a product from you. If they wanted to just buy a product, they could go to eBay. They could go to eBay. That would be foolish, but they could. They purchase from you because they want an experience. Okay? They want an experience. And it's our job to provide them one. So that's all part of customer service. So make sure that you are plugging them in and taking good care of them. Here's what that doesn't look like. How's it going on your product? If you don't know what else to say to your product user, in the team page, Plexus Freedom Team, there's a guide called Customer Care Retention. And there's at least some examples in there of ways that you can engage with them. But you gotta help them love their products. And that comes from retention and helping them troubleshoot and not freaking out if they say, I don't think I really like BioCleanse. Okay, just get curious. Get curious with your people. Make sure that your people are utilizing their free resources. When somebody buys a product from you, or when they buy product from someone on your team, are they telling everybody, hey, listen, Plexus also has given you an entire fitness and wellness platform, totally free. Plexus Pivotal is totally free. And it's got 3 workouts that change every week. It's got meal plans. It's got recipes. It's got motivation. It's got hydration tips. All of a sudden, when they're buying a product from you, now they're getting all kinds of benefits. You guys, that research is showing if people are using Plexus Pivotal, they are staying around months and months and months longer than those who are not using Plexus Pivotal. Mm-hmm. So are you getting your people plugged into Pivotal? I would definitely make sure to be doing that. Get them plugged into Pivotal. Okay, number 2, offer the opportunity to utilize the referral link. It doesn't have to be anything. Yes, Plexus Go. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Here's literally what I have started saying. Michelle, I'm so excited that you have gotten started with your products. They'll be here any day now. Hey, listen, I wanted to make sure that you knew Plexus is also known for having one of the most generous referral programs out there. I know I love getting paid for things that I'm going to spend money on anyway. I'm curious if I could show you how you never have to pay for your products out of pocket again. Would you be open to that? Let me tell you no words. Ready for some no words? Please do not use the word sell ever again. Do not use the word sell. I want you to be a seller. Would you think about selling? You should sell. We're not going to sell. We're not going to ask them to sell. We're going to say, hey, if I could show you how to utilize your referral link so you never have to pay for your products out of pocket again, would you be open? Now, some of you have been along with some other trainings that I have done where I have talked about casting bigger vision than getting the cost of your products covered. Do I want you to eventually get there? 100%. 100%. But how was Rome built? One day at a time. One day at a time. If you can get somebody who's open to never having to pay for their products again, we're going to get to the bigger vision. I'll help you with that. But right now, no words. We're not going to sell. We're not going to call people builders. Come be my builder. I want you not to even refer to them anymore in your brain as builders. These are actual people who have legitimate needs. So when you're talking to people, make sure that you're talking to them about them. Make sure you're talking to them about why this for them. You know what the angle I'm taking right now with my new product users? Michelle, I'm so glad that your products are on the way. Listen, I want you to know, I know that this time of year, things start to feel a little bit tighter. And I don't want you to have to sacrifice your investment in your health over the next couple of months because of increases with the holidays. Let me show you how not only I can relieve that stress, but what if I could show you how to cover the cost of Christmas dinner? What if I could show you how to cover the cost of each of those 3 kids' big gifts? Would you be open to that? Totally no pressure. But I've helped several people do that already, and I'd love to help you. If you've not helped somebody do that yet, you could say, my friend that's helping me has helped several people do that already. She's offered to help me help you do that. Y'all, what if they didn't have to charge the kids' trampoline for Christmas? What if they just got to pay for it? And listen to me, don't miss this, and then I'm going to stop talking. You should be sharing whatever the income you made has afforded you to this point. Well, Christina, I don't make $20,000 a month. That's fine. You know what I made before I made 20-something thousand dollars a month? 100, 500, 800. You know what I've talked about since the very beginning? What that has meant for me. So if you've made $200, how would that $200 help that friend of yours that you think could do this? And then I'm going to write content on my social media that talks directly to her. Don't call her by name because that'd be weird. But if I'm Jessica Newcomb and I know that my neighbor has mentioned wanting to get her kid a VR set, and I know a VR set cost about $400, and I know I made $400 when I first started this. Like I made $400 with my bonuses. You know, I recruited 5 people. I made $400 and I didn't buy a VR with it, but I could have. I'm going to talk to that person. Mamas, how many of you out there are looking for this high dollar Christmas gift, but you want to break the cycle of charging it? What if I could show you how you didn't have to do that? Y'all, listen, sometimes we mistake ourselves into thinking when I have so-and-so's level of success, then I'll share the opportunity. Let me tell you something. My level of success is not relatable with 99% of people. They can't conceive of ever being where I'm at. Okay. For the record, neither could I. What they can conceive of is not having to figure out how to afford what Christmas dinner is going to cost this year compared to what it cost last year. So they're either going to cut the menu or cut the guest list. But what if you gave them a solution so that they didn't have to do that? So you're inviting every single person to utilize the very generous referral program that we have, and you're setting yourself up as a coach to walk alongside them. Hey, listen, I'd be with you every step of the way. I can show you exactly how I did it. Would you be open? Do you see how that's not pressure to sell or over eager or somehow desperate for them to say yes? You're totally neutral. Whether they do this or not, that's totally fine. And listen, let me normalize something for you. I recruited 7 people last month. Out of the 7, 3 are open. Guess what that means? 4 weren't. And I'm really good at what I do. So if I'm really good at what I do and 4 people still weren't open, that means that if someone's not open for you also, you're normal. You're normal. Will I let those people who aren't open yet stay not open? No, but that's a training for another day. But for right now, they're not open. So I'll help them love their products in the meantime. And then every time they have a win, this is the last thing I'm going to say. Anytime you're talking to somebody and they say, oh my gosh, I hit my water yesterday. Like I've not ever done that before. And Plexus helped me do that. Or I pooped yesterday and normally it's a hard thing for me, or I went to sleep on time or whatever. You're celebrating the win. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. Hey, listen, I know that you did not want to share too much too soon, but now that you're loving blank, what if I helped you share that? Because I really feel like people in your audience, there might be some people who are struggling with just that. We don't have to overshare, but what if we just share that? Would you be open to me giving you something you could post that celebrates that? Because what if it could impact someone? And again, I just ask, and then I stop talking. And if they say, yeah, I mean, I'd probably post something cool. Let me write something up for you. Get them to toss up a post and then tell them what to do with that post. If somebody comments, we'll message them privately. If no one comments, that's totally normal. But in the meantime, be thinking of 3 to 5 people who you think also have that struggle. So you see how I'm just going a little further every time, little further every time. Will they automatically go make that list? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm at least planting that seed every time. Okay. Michelle, anything you want to add before I open it for feedback? No? Okay. So what I hope we will do is on these, it'll come half and half, half with some sort of specific training. I want you to leave this call so excited about getting to gold, or so fired up about getting someone on their way to gold that you're willing to endure the hard things. Because remember, faithfulness is long obedience in the same direction. If we know that, number one, just knowing this right here, this definition of faithfulness, long obedience, meaning it's not short. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be quick. It's not supposed to be without resistance. And then obedience means you're going to have to do sometimes what you don't feel like doing. Think about when your kids, like when you expect the most obedience from them, it's generally when you're requiring something that they feel in opposition to, but they have to perform anyway. That's what you're going to have to do here. You might not feel like doing these things, but if you have a responsibility to steward this opportunity well, what you have to have is willingness. Okay. So questions, comments, feedback that you need. We have 16 minutes actually. So who's got something?
I'll go if no one else does. I have a new sharer that is very excited, and I want to keep that excitement level. But I also want to figure out how to say the things that will help them, like when they're getting gung-ho in areas. They literally messaged me last night and were like, hey, she asked about price. What do I do? While I'm voice messaging back. And we've already had that there's no emergency in network marketing conversation. Like, I know it's exciting right now, but sometimes if you'll take a second for no emergencies and think, like, you'll give a better response. So I've already had that, but she literally went and copied my pricing message to another person who had already been sold the value, and we'd already been through the list of what it's going to do for them, and they're excited and ready to go. And that was her first message to this new person. Well, of course, that person's not responding back to them anymore. So it's a lesson learned, but I want to make sure I keep that excitement level and yet help her understand that how you give that value and why we don't just jump to that. And it's not just the pricing. It's, she's getting excited about all of it, like we all did probably when we were trying to go silver. Okay. Like, what do you do to the people that are that happy to go, but a little too go happy?
Well, I mean, I would relate. I would say, listen, I love your eagerness and your excitement here. And I just want you to know what I'm about to share with you, I learned from personal experience. Like, I did this exact same thing. And I think it probably cost me a couple of joins in the beginning. And so I just want to save you from that. Just know you're normal and this is okay. It's totally, overcomable. But here's what I'm noticing. I'm noticing that we are getting super eager and kind of letting the prospect control the conversation. And just know that you don't actually have to do that. Like, when somebody asks you for pricing right away, what you can say is, listen, the pricing is going to be dependent upon what products we decide are best for you. So tell me your health goals, and you're just going to have to train lovingly and normalize. I mean, of course she's eager. It's kind of like when a kid learns how to run, they're not going to stop and look both ways on the road. They just learn how to do something new and they're freaking excited to see what they can go see. There's nothing wrong with the kid. Really, the parent should have been near the road and ready to kind of hold it off. So sometimes just proactively saying, hey, listen, heads up, people who are as excited as you are, here are some downfalls, like some things that kind of can trip them up. Be aware of this. So you can kind of just proactively say, hey, that right there, I've been there, done that. Here's how I handle that in the future. So she hadn't done anything wrong. It's totally normal.
Well, that makes me feel better, because that's kind of a little, that's pretty well how I did it. But I know that sometimes I'm not the most delicate in areas like that. So I wanted to make sure I was handling it the proper way, to make sure that it's also duplicatable for her when she gets someone that excited. Because I was like, this is a good thing. Like, I'm very happy with you and how excited you are and what you're doing. This is not a negative. Like, you're killing it, girl. But I want to help you keep killing it.
Right. So when you tell somebody this is not a negative, you're like, what you have to do is you're going to have to story tell. Like, they need to know why you have done the same thing. Otherwise it will come across as condescending. So
I definitely told her, I was like, I did the same thing. And that's why I know that she may not respond to you after that message you just sent. Because I also sent that message way too early.
Right. And then you just give her hope that it can be different. And you can just say, listen, and the lady that I did that with, she eventually came around anyway. So it's totally fine. And then, like I said, I would give somebody who is taking that kind of action and wants to grow quickly, you can proactively give her a couple of made up scenarios of conversation. So if you're not available, she has 2 or 3 resources. I mean, at this stage in your business, you're going to have to be creating systems that your team needs. And this is just part of that leadership responsibility. Good question. All right. Who else?
I have a question.
Hi.
Hey, so I have a join from a couple of months ago who is now interested in sharing. She has been in a previous network marketing company. So she has a page that she uses for, or that she used for her thing that she did before, had a catchy name, catchy title, blah, blah, blah. So I asked her about putting up a first post, and she said, oh, I'll just use my other page. How do you kind of navigate that situation? Because I haven't had anybody before that had, a separate page. So just curious about that.
Yeah. I would get curious. I'd say, when you first started your other company, what was it that inspired you to create a separate page? Because, that's a little different than how we do things around here. You won't find any of our leadership that has a totally separate page, but I'm curious, why did your company do it that way? Mm-hmm. They probably had limited marketing rights. So a lot of the time, certain companies, they're not allowed to publicly promote because they've gotten into trouble with the FTC or whatever. Sure. So that they likely, I don't know what company it is, but they likely had to keep it in a private group. So you can just you can free her up, like, hey, you're allowed to openly share here. We're in great standings with the FTC. It could be that she's got some sort of hang up with what her close friends and family will think. And so you can just ask questions like, okay, so what would be the difference in putting it in that private group versus sharing publicly? Like, what are you afraid of with doing that? And then just kind of gently offer her perspective. Anytime you're overcoming an objection, whether it's in the recruiting process or the business building process or back and forth, because overcoming objections is part of leadership. So like, I've had to overcome objections about going on the cruise or taking time off of work. So anytime someone is believing something opposite of how you think they should believe, it's process of overcoming objections. And the number one thing you can do is be curious about it. Like, I wonder where that came from. And then see if there's a counter perspective you could offer for them to just consider. We're not committed to convincing them. We just are curious if we can give them something else. Like, what if that wasn't actually true? What if it was just as safe, friend, to post on your regular feed as it was to post in your private group? Like, what if it wasn't actually dangerous? And then just be quiet, see what she has to say. And it might be a process of overcoming. But in the
Sure.
meantime, I wouldn't dissuade her from posting in that. If she's open to posting in the private group, support that.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Christina, I've got a quick question.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great.
So, one of the young ladies that I have recently signed over the last 2 weeks, she was me and you spoke about her. She was dead against Hunter hardcore about promoting and sharing in the business aspect of things. She is now open-minded to it, and she just dropped the ball back in my court yesterday that she has been talking to one particular lady that is extremely interested, but she's not wanting to pull the trigger until she sees this girl's results that's under me. And then she mentioned seeing me and all of my posts on social media, and that has absolutely piqued her interest. So I decided to make the decision to say, well, look, I can help you gain so and so under you, which is going to help benefit you and start this process since you want to start building this residual income, and so forth. And I know you said not to use building, but I'm driving.
No, I mean,
So,
building a business is fine if that's what somebody has communicated.
okay. But did I make the right move because she said that she told this girl that she was going to reach out to me to get some more information, and then she asked my join, what she got started on and so forth. So I encouraged her to share more with this other girl so that she could get her as a join and sign her instead of me. Did I make the right move? Because she's this one girl that's asked about me, and with this other girl, she's on my list originally from 2 weeks ago to reach out to. And I know she would probably be a business builder as well. Did I make the right move of giving her to my join to build first?
Well, you didn't give her to your join. You said your join communicated that she had already been talking to this girl. Right?
Well, yeah, they're police wives, and they just happened to have their weekly talk. And she was like, yeah, I'm starting on this. I'm starting on Plexus. I'm really excited.
Always the right thing to do. Always. Okay. Whoever introduces the products, that is absolutely who gets the rights to the joint, 100%. And sometimes that's even harder because it might not even be my team. I know Michelle and I have a girl, her girl Leah is a good friend of mine, and there's a lady that has joined Leah. And I mean, we both equal rights to this lady. The right thing for me to do, though, when I was talking to Miss Dixie, was to say, hey, I know you've been talking with Leah. I will do you can come to every local event I have, but you're gonna have to go back to Leah and let Leah get you signed up. God always, always, always will bless it. So yes, you did the right thing. What I would have liked to see you do a little differently, and because you and I have been friends for 20 something years, I'll just be direct with you. Instead of getting into like the business jargon of like, I'll put her under you and that she'll benefit you and you can grow this with residual income. What I might have said, Sheena, is just, taking it back to just personal connection and saying, hey, listen, sounds like she's open, but she's got some hesitancy. Since she's already curious about your journey and my journey, what if you just pop the three of us in a chat and I can just help you share? Like, I'll share with her my story. I'll encourage her. I'll, validate whatever you're saying, new join. That might be all she needs, is a little third-party validation. What are your thoughts on that? That way it feels just like, it'd be like if me and you were at a party and there's a girl over there that we want to be friends with. You would be like, okay, well, I'll go this way and you go that way and we'll eventually be friends. Well, actually what you would say is, well, just go get her and bring her over. Like, let's bring her over. So do that. Just be yourself. Sometimes what I notice with you is it's like, okay, this Sheena's not enough. So let me try to be like business Sheena. Sheena, who you are is perfectly enough. Who you are is perfectly enough. So just be yourself and think about, how would I respond if we were standing in a crowd right now and Christina wanted to talk to that girl over there and I knew her? I would just say, let me grab her. I'll bring her right over.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Love you, friend.
Love you.
All right, 5 minutes. Oh, and just while we're waiting for the next question, listen, I will always end at 11:45, even if we're in the middle of something. So just know that's my commitment to you. At any time, there is a chat called Growing for Gold. It's totally optional. But if we're in the middle of something and we need to take it offline, that's where I'll take it. So if you need to be in that chat and you're not in it, let Michelle or I know. Okay, somebody was speaking.
I don't know if we have time for this or not. This is Robin. I'm up in Atlanta traffic in the car, so I hope we don't get cut off or anything. Anyway, I have this girl that just texted me back on the business thing that we sent, that you gave us and told us to send to someone. And I have been texting her back and forth about the product, probably 7 or 8 times. She's had to quit work, some health problems and all this. So I thought she would be a good one to send the business thing to. So I did. She sends me back a text. I just got it a few minutes ago. So I'm kind of excited about it because she says, I'm going to find a way to do the product. Send me more info. So having dabbled in the business and the product and haven't really asked her all her health goals yet. What is the best way to approach that, do you think?
The same way you would anybody else who's open to the products. Know that budget is a concern. It's why she said, I'm going to do my best to be able to do these products. So I would pause the business conversation for 10 minutes to get her signed up. But the whole time I'm signing her up, I would be saying, tell me your health goals. Let's figure out what products are best for you. And listen, friend, this will be the only month I hope this will be the only month you ever have to pay for this out of pocket. I've never paid for mine out of pocket since my first month. I can show you how to do that. But in the meantime, let's get you all set up. So when people have too many options, they get confused. And when people are confused, they do nothing. So you can't keep that conversation be business product all messy. Right now, she's saying, I'm going to figure out how to do the products. So you give her what she wants, but then you don't let her stay there.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right, 2 minutes. Ooh, you better ask fast.
So I have a question. So, in between, like, asking Plexus and like and stuff, do you have like a go-to thing that you like to share with people sometimes to like encourage them that's really about Plexus related, but like kind of like you're not always just sharing Plexus? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Have you seen my Facebook?
But do you do anything like private messages, or do you just kind of like no?
No, I give enough value on my social media. I feel great about that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Now I will view people's stories if they're on my hot list and they're on, like I can see, like I'll see them up here in stories. I will engage in their stories, but I mean, I don't sit down and just randomly send encouragements. That's so not my personality. People would be like, what the heck? No, I ain't doing it. They better go encourage themselves. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, kind of. All right, 1 minute.
I have a question.
Hi.
How do you handle cold market business reach outs?
What do you mean?
There are people I don't really necessarily know. I mean, do you do cold market business reach outs, or do you wait? And
I definitely, listen, I've been doing this almost 10 years. I got to do some cold market reach outs. My whole market is cold market. I add a lot of value on social media. I pay attention to who watches my stuff. If they've been consistently watching my stuff, I consider us friends. And I'll say, hey, Ashley, I know we haven't had a chance to connect here, but I've noticed that you've left some love and support on my posts, and I enjoy watching your family. How was your vacation? Hey, listen, I am taking a risk here. I realize that, but I really think I have something that you might want to take a look at. I know that I have a successful business, or I'm in the process of building one, or whatever the situation is. And I'm just curious, with things the way they are in the economy, I know people are praying for relief. And listen, if that's something that's on y'all's heart, on your radar, I think I might have something you want to check out. Totally no pressure. But if you're open to it, let me know. I'll send you some info. If not, in the meantime, what are you guys up to next weekend? No pressure. Are you open? If not, in the meantime. And then I just keep it like I would, like if I ran into them at Target. And voice message. Write it out and read it if you have to. All right, y'all. 11:45. So I will go upload this recording, and I will see y'all next Thursday. Bye, guys.